Buddy, can everybody hear me on the Zoom call here and stuff?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. All right, so I am Spencer Labarge, Chairman of the Swanton Development Review Board. Other members here tonight are Reginald Bellevue to my far right, Earl Garrett to my immediate right, Jim Pratt to my immediate left, and Jennifer Yandel to my far left. Also with us is our Administrative Assistant Christina Candles, and we also have
Brian Savage.
John God, Brian. I'm so used to saying Amy Drew. Brian Savage here filling in for Amy Drew. These proceedings are being recorded. If you would like copies of the minutes, please sign in with your name, mailing address, and the application you are interested in. We will be reviewing the following items tonight. We will be looking at number 1, DRB 40/2024, Arthur Bullrich, request for preliminary plat approval for a 2-lot subdivision located at 410 County Road, and that's be you.
Yes.
We'll also be looking at DRB 01/2025, Arthur Bullrich again for request for conditional use less than 10%. And the third item tonight will be the DRB 02/2025. Michael Barrett and Annie Cornell Barrett. Did I say that right?
That'd be Connie with Cornell Brett.
Connie, okay, thank you. Connie, okay, sorry.
That's
Appeal of administrative decision in regard to determination of exempt agricultural activity in relation to Shumway property located at 200 Middle Road in the R1 Agricultural District. Okay, so we will be conducting this meeting in an orderly manner. Copies of our rules of proceedings and conflict of interest policy will be made available if requested. At this time, I'd like any of the board members to make known any possible conflicts of interest or any ex parte communication. Reg.
I had a call tonight from a village trustees, Sue Kelleher, just stating support for the Shumway project.
And she's on the call.
Oh, she is on the call, okay.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, that's it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, I don't see anything wrong with that. Calling just to admit support, you guys didn't talk about the.
No, it's just that she said that she's supporting the business, should we need more businesses like this, and I said, okay, I'll bring it forward.
All right, Harold? I have none.
I do.
Yep.
I've had conversations with Arthur Bowers, his son, over what he's doing with the. What is it?
what we're here for tonight.
Yeah.
I've also spoken with Jen about the project
And also because of the land trust activity.
Okay, so it's just like an advisory thing as far as the.
Well, I just wanted to know, he wanted to know about it.
So you're just kind of explaining the professional stuff? Okay, all right. And Jennifer?
No,
Okay, very good. All right, in the interest of time, I'd like to read about interested persons. Interested persons are those persons who under Vermont law have the right to appeal an act or a decision of the town of Swanton zoning administrator or DRB. Interested persons include the applicant, a municipality, a person owning, or occupying property in the immediate neighborhood, any 10 persons, either voters or landowners who by signed petition to the DRB or PC allege that the decision or act is confirmed, any department or administrative subdivision of the state owning property within the municipality. Why is interested person important? Though many members of the public may be interested in a zoning permit, applications only statutory defined interested persons may appeal a decision of a zoning administrator or development review board. If any interested persons fails to make a timely appeal, all interested persons are bound by the officer of the DRB decision. Interested persons must participate in a hearing to protect their appeal rights. Only those interested persons who have participated in the DRB or PC proceeding may appeal a decision rendered in that proceeding to the environmental court. Pursuant of the state statute, participation consists of offering through oral or written testimony, evidence, or a statement of concern related to the subject of the proceeding. All right. At this time, I'd like all members to please rise. Even people on Zoom, please rise and turn on your cameras so we can see that you are taking the oath. Because if you do not take the oath, then you cannot give testimony. So Renee Rainville and Tori. I need to see
I don't think they're looking to give testimony, they're here in support of me. They're not looking to give testimony,
If they
If
wanna
they're
talk
gonna
at all.
say
I don't think
anything,
they do.
they need to raise their hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just in support and observation tonight. Thank you.
Okay, all right, so if that's the case,
And Renee is raising her hand technically.
She's like, I don't.
Tori, do the same.
Very well,
We'll do. I'll find the button.
thank you.
okay. At this time, I ask that all participants and or her representative and all interested parties rise and take the following oath. I hereby swear that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. I do.
I do.
I do.
Okay, everybody's sworn in. All right, so I go through this every meeting, as you can attest to. What we will be running, we will start off with the first agenda. With number one, which will be Arthur Boris, and as we work through the agenda, you will come up, you will sit at the table. We will, or give the testimony. The onus is on the applicant to explain the petition to us. I will ask some questions, the board members will ask some questions. And when we are done vetting our questions, I will then ask the community if they have any questions. They will then raise their hand, state their name, so we can record it into our minutes and ask their question directly to me. Not to the applicant or anything like that, directly to me. And I will, if I can answer the question, or if a board member can help me with the question, if not, then we will figure out the answer through the applicant, but. Do not talk to the applicant, directly to me. Are we clear?
Yes.
Are we clear on Zoom?
Yes.
All right, so with that, let's
Before you
get,
start, Spencer.
Yep.
Tori, for the record, can you state your full name, please?
Tori Crossman.
Crossman, thank you.
I'm a Fairfield resident. I don't know if that matters to your
It's
records.
okay.
all right, so with that, why don't we. Hey, sorry, hold up here. All right, so number one, DRB 40/2024, Arthur Boris requested a preliminary plat approval for a 2-lot subdivision located at 410 County Road in the R1 agricultural. So I believe we had some homework items, right?
Yeah, I believe we just that.
First, state your name.
Yeah, first, my name is Christian, I'm also the consultant, Jarvis, here for the voice. My first question is, I believe. Mr. Barrett may have mistakenly signed into this meeting unless you intend to speak about this project.
No,
Okay.
did I say?
Yes. Just curious if you have any, reason to leave on it. And then, yeah, so going forward from that, we did already convene once on this project, which Mr. Bellevue noted a discrepancy with the lot. So we have since adjusted that width to meet that requirement, and in doing so, we came to the conclusion that we need conditional use approval for less than 50 feet to the north side of the existing house at 1-2. The acreage has been revised to 2.95 acres. Nothing else has changed except for that northern line. We put a bend in that. You'll see 42 feet to that line, the nearest point. To get around the house, and that would be what we're coming in, so the conditional use would be the next thing on your agenda. To meet the 140-foot minimum width requirement that you had noted last time.
Okay, so basically, a lot of the questions on the conditional use that I see right here, the lines look to what we were saying last time. Yeah.
Picking up that 75% of 200 feet.
Yeah.
And in order to do that. That's
Yeah, that's basically what it boils down to. Rich, you start working on the math on that.
But they met it,
They met it.
yeah, they met it.
Okay, all right, I just want to make sure.
We show dimensional text.
Oh, where,
Wow.
okay, I see, I see now. Yeah. Okay, I don't have any questions, Reg,
No, I don't.
Harold? Jim?
I don't have any, other than this septic design is for over here.
That is for the replacement area for that house that's already there.
Okay,
So there's already a mound on this, on that lot.
Right here.
That was designed by Hango, but because it was at this sort of time period where the state was taking over, there's no permit on it. So I had to come up with a backup area, and that is the backup area that's designated.
This goes basically to the next.
Yes, yes.
And Jen,
No, I'm good.
alright, any questions in the community on this? We got a hand up, Susie?
I think her hand was up from the.
Well. Okay, the hand is down. I got it.
I'm
You good,
good. I'm
Susie?
sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to do that.
That's okay. That's alright. Alright, so if there's no questions, then thank you very much. We'll move on to the next one.
Is that a twofer?
No, actually,
I didn't start off, I'm sorry, just. I should have started off with that. Just run through the spiel again about the 30% left.
Okay,
And
yeah,
I'll ask if there's any
it
questions.
was kind of all in the same
Yeah.
mention, but again, so the lot width was adjusted and therefore the. The northern setback for the house is being requested as part of the conditional use.
I don't have any questions. Reg, you all set?
no, I'm good.
Okay, Harold, Jim?
I have-
None?
It's fine.
Alright, Jen,
I'm fine.
any questions in the community?
My only question is.
Whoa.
After the cleaners is commenting reports, even though nobody signed it for this meeting.
What's your question?
Is the board able to make a decision on this tonight, or am I correct in assuming I have to come back in February?
This, you need one more
Yeah,
for
you
final.
need one more for final.
Just confirming, so.
Yeah, cause we gotta do the conditional, and we'll make a decision on both of these. But you'll still have to
I will
come
have
back
to.
for the final.
That's all I care about.
So plan on seeing us in February.
That's right.
Alright,
Thanks.
alright. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
What's that? I'm skiing tomorrow, so.
You talk, but you don't
It's Farmer's Day at JP.
Everybody goes on Farmer's Day.
That's right,
Like everybody was a farmer.
like a high school reunion.
Earlier from that.
I prefer, yeah, my parents are hiding.
Oh, okay. No, it's from Northeast Kingdom.
What's that?
So I'm from the Northeast Kingdom, JP here.
Other side of the mountain, what's it not?
Alright, thank you, Christian.
Have a good night.
Drive safely.
Thanks.
Take care.
Come tomorrow.
Alright, so let's, that was 1 and 2, let's get into number 3, DRB 02-2025. Michael Barrett and
That's great.
Cornell Barrett. Appeal of administrative decision in regard to determination of exempt agricultural activity in relation to the Shumway property located at 200 Middle Road, in the R1 agricultural district. Alright, come on up here, Brett.
I'm Michael Barrett.
Yep, perfect. Yeah. Alright, so
And so, should I jump right into it?
jump right into
Okay,
it.
so I've got 8 exhibits.
They are the staple packet that you got, that was upside down with you.
Okay, did the highlights print?
Yes. Well, they're shaded.
Actually, it'll be more efficient if I give you these copies because it's color coded. You go through it more quickly. Don't despair, I got 8 exhibits, but I'll go through it quickly. I have to refer to small sections, so I got.
We can share.
Yeah, we can share.
We can share.
You guys go ahead and I'll call them.
Go ahead.
If you want who needs to see them. So you guys, I'll be fine. I can see it.
Okay, so first section, are you leaving out the. Your respective. So to jump right in, we filed the appeal toward the deputy zoning administrator's letter providing a determination of exempt agricultural activity. And that letter, if you distill it down, essentially just invokes 24 Vermont statute annotated 4413(1)(a). That's essence of that letter. And that's fine. That's fine if you have a farm, but you first have to have a farm. And our contention is that the Shumways do not have a farm by the legal definition of farm. Now, at the time of when Judge McLean sent this back down to the town from the environmental court, what was before the court was the agency farm determination. Not whether 4413(1)(a) was applicable to the farm. So I believe Judge McLean was looking to the town for a more fact-finding mission and validation of the farm determination, not whether 4413(1)(a) applied, which is basically saying that farm structure and agricultural practices are exempt from zoning bylaws. So in conversation with the state general counsel, we were assured that if presented with the evidence, the farm determination that the farm determination shouldn't have been granted, then they will look at the evidence and they may rescind the farm determination. So given that you guys are that finding body, I would like to get at those facts and let you guys judge with the validity of those facts. So to that end, I'd like to, anyway, so exhibit 1 is just the letter. I don't have much to say about it, but what I just said is that it all distills down to invoking 24 VSA 42 for the development. But it does not address what Judge McLean sent this back down for. And what he sent back down for, this entire letter is premised on the assumption that the farming status was legitimate. We're here to contest the facts underlying that farming determination.
Okay, so I think we're clear on that.
Okay, now we'll go on to exhibit 2. As I said, I'll go put the exhibits. If you can go to page 2, which is at the bottom, is highlighted in yellow. So it does highlight on the other ones. And it just basically says that the farming determination, the agency's decision, making that determination was based on information provided and may change should the relevant information change. And I'm here to demonstrate that the relevant information will change. Now, the key word in all of this is farm. What defines farm? So let's focus on the word farm. So if you scroll your eyes up a little further to the top part of the page, which is highlighting in orange, item C says that the property in question is a farm that is no less than 4 contiguous acres in size. That is not correct. And if I'm sorry, should I refer to them as Shumways or Applebee's? What would you? No preference?
No. Okay. So how do you, if the state defined it as at that particular thing, how do you say that that's not correct?
Yes, I'm gonna point out why that is not
Okay.
correct. But again, this is one of the minimum threshold criteria to be designated a farm.
So let's
The Applebee's did not select that.
let's
The
work
state
through it.
Okay.
Let's work through your thought process.
Yes, okay, now I need to go to answer your question, I need to go to page 1. And on page 1, in about the middle, if you have a color coded one, it's colored in green and orange. And it says that, and it's written that a 5-acre farming operation was part of the property. In point of fact, this is not part of the property that's in farming operation, this is the total parcel acreage. If you look at the sentence just below that, which is highlighted in blue and, sorry, and orange, you'll see that farm means a parcel of land owned by a person and devoted primarily to farming. The property to be primarily devoted to farming, that and common sense use of that term is 50% or more of the property would be devoted to farming, and it's not. Now, if you don't like that, and you need a stronger definition of primarily, well, it's synonymous with principally. And that is defined in the RACs. Can I use that or do
We're good with that, right, guys?
Okay.
I'm just trying to find where was that 4.5, did you say 4.5 acres?
That was, well, it's in orange. The top.
Orange or, okay.
Like I said,
Here.
the plans that,
He's stating that, I think, the farm is 4 more acres, and he's saying that their property is 5 acres, but they're only using a certain amount of it for the
Right.
strawberry farm.
this is claiming that under,
Yeah. Okay.
what is cultivated is 4 acres, that is not correct.
So-
And so, but I'm going back to page 1, the reason the agency thought this was a correct inference is because the applicant did put down that they have a total acre farm operation. That is not correct, they have total 5 acres of property, not 5 acres in operation.
So you would,
That is why,
you a neighbor to them?
yes, but the budding neighbor.
Okay, there we go.
So let's just hold on
Yeah,
this here for a second. So. In the town. Well, let's just take Mr. Loris for a second, you know, I just wanted that something to board here. His farm. They go, the town looks at it as the whole total acreage, including the acreage is the house and the and the barn, correct?
Every,
So therefore, the applicant, the Shumways in this case, meet the criteria, you have. What's your acreage on your
5.01.
5.01? So if we look at it at history as to what the town is doing and has done for. What they consider a farm and taxes and things like that, they consider everything. And Jim is on our planning commission, that's why I asked Jim, because he works through that pretty heavy, so. So I'm just letting you know that that's the history of our of the town.
And I don't know
Is
of
that
any
correct to
farm
state?
that doesn't have
I
a
got it.
house on it as well to live in.
Well, I'm not,
Whether it's 5
I'm not
acres or-
contesting that the house is there or not, but
Right,
most
but you're
farms,
stating that
the amount of property actually under cultivation is considerably larger than residence.
so let me ask you a question. Why is it a problem whether they raise strawberries to sell or what they do? What is your concern?
Yeah, let's get to the ball.
Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's
What is
find
the
out.
concern?
Well, if you bear me out just a little further, I'm getting to that.
Alright,
Well,
so,
let's move on then.
yeah, let's move,
So,
yeah.
But I wanted to be clear that the
Because I'm
legal,
gonna tell you what farming is. Agriculture, basically, according to the state of Vermont, anyone can raise product to sell.
no
It's
problem,
farm
no
product.
problem. No problem.
But in the current use program in the state of Vermont, everything, if a guy is claiming to be a farmer. If he raises $2,000 worth of product to sell. He can be in what we call a current use program, which gives him a reduced factor on his acreage. And he also, at that time, has to file federal farm forms. And that's where a lot of people get confused, because there is a difference between federal, the state's program for current use, and what is listed as farms in the state of Vermont.
So why don't we get to your next few steps here? I don't wanna shut you down.
Yep.
So I wanna make sure that we hear you
So
through.
again, my contention, our contention is. It does not meet the definition.
Well, who
I
said
know
it's a farm? Will you tell me who said it's a farm?
They're saying so.
Well, they can say whatever they want. I can say my house is on a farm and it's not.
And the agriculture agency is saying it's a farm. But that's based on. Inaccurate information. That I'd like to finish out.
Well,
So let's finish
the
this out.
thing is, they're being assessed as if they were not a farm, just a residential property.
No, they are not now,
Since when?
since.
Why
October
do you,
28th,
why do you say that?
because,
Where do you know what they're assessed at?
oh, you mean property assessment taxes?
That's correct.
Oh, I'm sorry, no, I correct myself.
Okay,
Okay.
I just want you to know, there's a
So let's
difference
get to your
between farm
last-
assessment and normal property.
So let's get to your last 2 points here.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so. Again, my point is that it doesn't meet the definition of farm under the regs.
Yeah, understood.
Okay, and the definition of principally or primarily is in the regs at more than 50%. And that's exhibit 3.
Yeah. Understood. Yeah, we saw that.
That's all there is to that.
Alright, so what's on 4?
So on 4 is the property, this is the aerial view of the property in question. Property is in the foreground, it's bounded on the left and right by barns.
Yep.
And in the front by the street, and in the back, you can see kind of a green sort of path.
Yeah.
A regressing path, that pretty much
We can also see that where they're doing some cultivating here too on their property.
Exactly. So yeah, that to the left, to the left is their strawberry field.
Yeah.
And then you can also see the primary use of the property here is the industrial operation, which is a excavation service.
Yep.
In the rear part of the property.
Okay.
So
We're
again,
good with that.
it's, the property is not predominantly used as farming.
It looks like it's being used for farming to me and it's being
Well,
used, yeah,
But
but.
it has to meet the definition of the
But
farm.
let's-
That's our contention, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, we understand what you're saying here. So let's move on to 5.
Now, 5, just what that is quantifies the property. This is a satellite view that came a little bit, it was made a little bit earlier than the aerial view, which was sometime in October. So the strawberry patch pretty much occupies now presently the entire rectangle to the left. The long rectangle to the left.
Where you have 3 3/8.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And as you can see, I've also,
Yeah, but let's just let him finish up. Finish this part right here.
I also partitioned out the industrial business there.
Yeah,
And the industrial business is 1.4 acres of the property. The strawberry patch is approximately 3/4 of an acre. So what I'm contending, it is not primarily devoted as required by the RAS to farming. It's primarily devoted to an industrial application.
okay. I think Harold had a question.
Yeah.
Did I hear it correct, that the whole acreage is 5.01?
5.01. I don't know how to calculate that.
Well, that's almost more or less.
So everybody understands exhibit 5? Okay, so let's move on.
All right, yeah, so you can- now exhibit 6,
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this your property across the street?
it is, I'm sorry, I don't have the color code.
That's okay, it doesn't need to, I just wanted to confirm where your property was.
And this
Okay.
property in your house is, where's your house in petition in like to this? Maybe it's on the previous,
Yeah, we're over here, right here, we're over here,
but you're way over here.
no, right here, we left the property right here.
So this is property, so where is your,
This goes down there, on my side.
This right here.
so you're right here, so roughly your house is right there?
Yeah, well, we're gonna make more for the.
This goes down the shit, right? Goes.
Oh, okay, alright, okay, oh, okay,
So in the
yeah, yeah.
woods here.
Alright, so you're off to the right, just like, even though your property is directly across the road.
No, the house is directly, I'm sure,
Like, I think they put a dot right where your house is,
the house is
I just wanna make sure I understand. Right. Okay, perfect,
we're directly.
thank you. Yeah. Alright, so I think we were on exhibit 5, right guys?
Is number 7.
Number 6.
Six, we're on the six.
Six.
So this is just, again, quantifying the proportion use of the property, it's not primarily devoted to farm.
Okay, so
As required,
so.
I don't make up the laws.
No, so we understand what's your contention here, so this is the acreage that you feel. The breakdown of their acreage in relationship to the actual use and the farm use. Okay, I got it, you guys have any questions on this?
So basically what you're saying is that 1.37 should be taken out of the 5 acres. When you're considering.
Essentially, yes,
That's what you're.
and then it would be predominantly devoted to farming.
Okay.
We do not, I'm gonna get to the end of this, and I think we're gonna come to.
Alright, so what's,
But we just wanna.
so what's the next one?
Okay, so I'm gonna go to exhibit 7, which is the computer printout of the entries made by. The appellee in their application for farm determination with the agriculture department.
Number 7. 7. Number 7.
So I'm sorry, it doesn't have a front page,
Right.
well, maybe you guys.
Oh, I thought you were
It
looking
says
for 5.
7.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Good.
Oh, okay, I got it, yeah, never mind, you got it. Yes.
Good now?
I don't know what 5 is, so.
Now, again, it's highlighted as to the reason
What'd you do with it? I didn't do it.
they applied.
It's over here. Sorry. Alright, sorry.
I'm not reading it. I'm going to.
Moving on.
I don't want to take too much.
I do this all the time, I mess up people.
That goes up with paperwork and then stuff.
Okay, so
6 and 7.
6 and 7, okay, now it's 7 now. Alright, so I'm. Okay, and then. What's the part, okay? So this is a letter to this.
No, I'm sorry, this is a computer printout of the application entries for farm determination by the agricultural department, by the Shumways. These are the entries they put in. And in yellow, I want to point out, the first page, that the reason she indicates she's applying for this. is she says, I'm in the midst of a litigation from an appeal to my approved town permit. And this will allow my strawberry farm and farm stand to continue to operate.
Okay.
Number 1, her farm, strawberry farm is not in litigation, it never was. That is not correct. What's in litigation before the environmental court is a desire to open an ice cream stand under the guise of a roadside stand. That is what in front of the environmental court.
Okay,
I would like to say that this.
basically what you're saying is the stuff in blue on the second page is what you're.
No, I have nothing, I have no interest in that.
Okay,
But,
alright,
no, what I'm saying is that this application was not to become a farm. This application was to find a loophole out of abiding by the same bylaws that the rest of us have. And she says it very explicitly, it's not to become a farm.
okay,
So my point here is this is an insincere application.
okay,
Page 2. It says that a total of acreage under farming is 5.01 for vegetables, berries, or flowers. This entry to the application is what made the agricultural department think that there were 4 contiguous acres of property under farming as one of the minimum threshold criteria for being designated as farm.
okay,
Now. Let me. So. I think I'm gonna skip it, so I want to summarize that, I'm done.
okay, you got that?
So what I'm saying is the information provided to the agency rendered their decision without accurate information. That decision for farming determination, again, that is why Judge McLean sent this back to the town as a fact-finding effort to make sure that that information was accurate, because it was pulled at the last minute in the court as a way of circumventing the adjudication of the other thing that was going on, the ice cream and the roadside stand.
Okay,
And so what I'm saying is therefore, the deputy zoning administrator, the deputy zoning administrator's letter. Was predicated entirely on a farm determination, which doesn't stand up. And again, the state general counsel assured us, if we presented them with the evidence that the farm determination should not have been given. They will look at that evidence and they may rescind that farm determination. Okay. So, they don't need to be presumptuous, but I think it's incumbent upon this board to submit this evidence if they render it as valid, if they judge it as valid. You submit it to the agriculture agency so that they make an accurate determination. Because the information provided in the application was not accurate. And you know, these bylaws, they've been under development in this country for 100 years. They've been well vetted. They're means by which we all live together peaceably and work together productively. I don't think they should be scorned and circumvented. So I don't see that this is a genuine effort towards farming. It's a way of finding a loophole out of what everybody else should look at.
so at the end of this, what are you asking this board to exactly do for you?
You're not contesting the strawberries.
Never were, no.
And you're not contesting the selling the strawberries at a stand on the UK.
No, we were not.
Because I remember her coming and giving us a permit, and I think you were there.
What happened is what we did not want was a ice cream stand open with the roadside stand. You're absolutely correct. We never objected to this. We objected to the ice cream stand. That's what's before the environmental court. But then they would not come to agreement. They would not be reasonable. And then my attorneys, you know, it's kind of out of my hands after all. Now they wanted to completely not allow them to roadside stand, but the strawberries were never in question. The strawberry farm was never in question.
Okay, so that part of it I understand.
Yeah.
So what you're contesting is that the ice cream stand won't meet the 5 acre thing because of the contract check.
The ice cream stand doesn't need to be the 5 acres.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't,
I'm not
because
talking about the ice cream stand.
It follows, but what I'm thinking that he's trying to tell us is that the ice cream stand was given because of the fact that it's a farm.
no,
With
No.
5 acres.
no.
I'm saying what's in front of the environmental court, when this issue came up. Was just the ice cream stand, that's what we.
So you're contesting the ice cream stand.
In environmental court,
Okay.
in the but this was then thrown in at the last minute. To disrupt that proceeding. So that they could claim. I mean, that's basically, it's just a loophole for to get out of that environmental proceeding.
So you mentioned that your attorneys threw this in last minute, but you hired the attorneys, you pay them to proceed or not proceed. So did you choose to give them the stamp of approval to proceed with the whole farming strawberry piece, or did you choose to not?
That was never an issue.
Right, but as you have said, this started as an ice cream stand dispute.
Yes.
And it has developed to a strawberry issue.
And into a farm issue because that was using a loophole to.
But you are the one who are paying the attorneys
Of
and
course.
pursuing this forth. So you, in my opinion, have the ability to say, that's not what I'm worried about. If you, as the state, wants to pursue that, then that's on them, not on you.
What I'm
But
worried
you
about-
initially started the conversation about an ice cream stand.
Let me make this simple. We don't object, as neighbors, we do not object, if they want to. Farm, as you can see, we're surrounded by farms, that's the nature of the property, the character of the property surrounding. We have no objection to that. So if they want to do that instead of this industrial business, we're more than happy to support it.
How is an ice cream stand an industrial
No, this is the
business?
industrial business here.
so,
It occupies the
Oh,
greater
the
proportion of the
landscaping?
property, the greater proportion of the property is occupied by this contractor.
Good. So can I ask what the issue is with the ice cream stand?
Well, we don't want an ice cream stand, that's.
I know, I'm
That's
trying to
totally out of
understand.
character.
The ice cream stand next to me, but.
Well,
That is fine.
that just means more traffic, more noise,
For that.
Exactly, no, we don't want that, there are no restaurant-like activities out there, that would be a completely changed character of the community.
And.
But again, that's
you were
not what
looking
this
at the
issue is.
conditional use,
Yeah, I'm looking at
Piece
the
that-
conditional use.
which states,
Which states that for the ice cream business to be there, which I think we've vetted through that, and Jim pointed it out to me. And I put in 411, that's how we got there, which is right, cottage industry, home-based cottage industry, the occupation. And then zoning district, yeah. So. Mr. Barat,
is the ice cream stand in existence yet?
okay, so. I'm still grappling with what is the main thing that you're trying to, is it just a farm piece only that you're trying to build?
No,
Is it
no,
a farm?
You
Or
know,
is it the
the
ice cream?
whole thing is, that they're commercializing that property, they're ever increasing the amount. We don't want further commercialization of that property. Again, if they wanna actually fit the
So-
definition of predominantly, the parcel predominantly devoted to farming, we are all on board with that.
So in our bylaws here, which is what this board has to look at, and we're quasi judicial, so we have to look at what the writers have written for us, and they've written this out, and in that section, in the way, and I've been on this board for a period of time now. The way we look at it is we look at where the conditional uses are. And we've kind of, Jim reminded me about the cottage industry, that's how we got there. To the use, but if you have a farm. By whatever definition, let's just use farm, okay? I'm going to use what I perceive from the town here is that you have a farm, your acreage is. Including the house and everything, that's your farm. Now, a farmer. Can, because I know my father-in-law had a sand pit and a gravel pit on his farm. Which is basically, I see that as to what the Shumway, but that's also part of their business, which is also part of. Their included into the conditional use, so. You can have a farm and you can be doing things like right now, farmers are now taking their properties and doing really cool things with them.
I'm down on farming.
I understand that, but basically. They, I see the Shumways, is it Shumways or? Shumways, you know, I look at that as they're growing stuff that they're eating, plus they're selling. And who's to say that they couldn't put up a small shed, they got plenty of property there, bring in a couple cows, and next thing you know, they're making cheese, you know what I mean? Because of the fact that that you can do that as a small business, and a lot of farmers are looking at things like that, and I know what you're saying, I hear you, and I understand, but we also have to look at these farms and at a farm and what is classified as a farm, and know that they can do things on their property that if it's related to agricultural, they're gonna do it. You know what I mean?
That's fine with us.
But, so, what, sorry,
That's okay.
question, you mentioned the, you know. The equipment, essentially, the landscaping business, which essentially is only storage of. The trucks, and they don't do landscaping there.
No, they do all kinds of operations, it has the equipment across the street. all the
Before they
time.
won that property, it was used as a repair garage.
That's right.
And it was also, one was a part that leased out the land.
I've been there for years. Been there for years.
I don't know what your problem is with what they're doing, they're working on their own property,
The noise.
noise,
The noise of an ice cream stand.
No.
the strawberries make noise?
No, sir. Listen,
So, yeah,
That's-
let's
I feel your frustration.
let's settle down here, okay?
Right.
So
The
let's settle
construction
down.
industry there makes enormous amount of money.
But-
Now we're adding
So
to
the
that by adding, so you now stop selling things off the property, you're adding traffic, et cetera, to that. What I'm saying is. Yes, there are bylaws, we should all abide by them, but this was used. Insincerely, disingenuously, as a loophole to get out of abiding by those bylaws.
I I don't see
So
that.
there's no, what benefit are they getting by calling themselves a farm by the state, anything?
No,
Okay.
Yeah, no, there is.
I don't,
There's
but I,
exemption about
but I
it.
don't,
No, so they're not
Mr. Brett,
exempt. Why-
the way-
we
the
still
way I
have to
look at it-
abide by zoning bylaws.
correct,
No,
and that's what I'm trying to tie that into.
No, that's incorrect. If you,
But Mr. Barrett,
that's exactly what the reps tell you, is that if you have a farm, if you get classified as farming, you have an exemption.
but Mr. Barrett, what I am trying to convey, and I think the board members are, talk to them individually, we'll talk about it more in deliberate session, but. What I think what we are trying to say is that we look at the property as to what they're permitted for, they're already permitted for the landscaping piece. They're already permitted, and it all falls within the criteria of our book. So the way I'm seeing it is that we're quasi judicial, we have our resource, our Bible, if you will, that we reference, and we're going to make our decisions based off of that. If you're coming to us with this lawsuit and you're asking us to look at this and say, no, I don't think we're in a position to do that.
No.
You guys?
No.
Because we can't, because it's based off of our book. Now, your recourse is pretty simple. You can either continue to the environmental court. And then they can you're saying that they're kicking it back to us, but I've never seen the environmental court kick something back to us to say. Zoning board or DRB board, get the facts on this, that, and the other thing, that's not our job, our job is, these are our facts. This is our regulations that we look at right here, this book, and so we're going to interpret this, so this board is about interpretation. It's not about finding facts, like Spencer Lavarge is not gonna leave here tonight and go over and start digging into things that are going on their property to get the facts as to exactly what's going on. No, I'm gonna look at what they got and I'm gonna get in our book and what they got for permits and say. And right now, I can't find anything that says that we should even act on this.
I mean, if they were getting. huge
I'm sorry, I mean, that's my own
benefits
personal
from calling
opinion.
Themselves a farm, that's one thing, but they're not. You're not getting any huge kickbacks from the state of Vermont.
So I
because they're
think you
saying
think
farm.
it's pertinent to that because of the fact that. I'm looking at I'm sorry, I'll let you speak here in a second, I'm looking at it like very holistically, that's why I started off with my question to Jim about a farm. And we used the previous applicant, cause he's got a farm, and you said that, no, according to our tax base and everything, they look at everything from, so if he's got his, so if Mr. Boris has got his pit going and stuff like my father-in-law had. And I gotta tell you, he sold stuff out of his pit to people. Your father must have done the same thing. You know, on his farm, right? Yeah. So I'm just saying, Mr. Brett, so we have to, I thought your father ran that farm too, but that's okay, that's another conversation, but
He just gave that away.
Mr. Brett, I'm sorry, I can't see where. I have to shut this down, I'm really sorry, because not unless you guys see anything differently.
No, I don't.
Well, the only other thing I would add is that there are a number of farms, while they are agricultural, cows, cornfields, the whole, thousands of acres or 100 of acres. That have farm stands with meat and eggs and robo stuff all over this state. I drive by them on a regular basis. There's 2 on my road that I live on, and I live in Swanton. So it's one of those, I understand what your issue is not with the strawberries.
It's not with the issue, it's not the story, it's not with the farm.
It's with the
It's with
potential ice
using
cream stand.
this exemption, that you said that they don't have a farm exemption, they do, so therefore.
They're not
these
getting any
companies-
benefit from it other than,
Of course they are, they're.
what benefit are they getting other than saying,
But
I'm a farmer?
but this board, whenever we are looking at if a guy comes to us in front of us and he's got 300 acres of property and says, I wanna start a farm. Well, I've never adjudicated on something like that, he's just started it, you know what I'm saying, that's all done at the state level. Am I right, Brian, or am I wrong? So that's between, the way I'm looking at it, that's between the Shumways and the state of Vermont. This board, they actually, many years ago, they actually took farming out of it and away from this board, now a farmer has to come to us for certain things, like when they're plotting off land, like Mr. Bovis did. Or they're selling a parcel or something like, that's when we get involved, but as far as the actual farm and the definition, sorry,
They
I've
can
never
build-
done it, I don't
they
have
can
any
build
experience on it.
a
I'm not
farmer,
gonna sit here
Basically,
and say anything to you otherwise other than that, because that's been my issue. And I've been on this board over 24 years. Never had that come from us. Sorry.
But I do agree with Spencer's point of if it's something you wanna pursue, it's not for this board.
Yeah, it's with the state, it's with the environmental board. I hate to
Well,
say it like
that's-
that.
That's what they go with it. So then I have. You actually made a decision.
Well, no, actually, we technically
We have to
have.
have deliberative
We have to
session
have
to discuss.
deliberative
I
sessions.
just have-
You know what, and this is well written out, and when we start looking at these things in deliberative session, and we start digesting it. We may continue it, I don't know, it's all up to the board, I mean, I'm just speaking. For myself as the chair, as to this is the way I feel, and I do know I did the one consent over to the right, I'm not sure about the other guys, but
Can I make a public comment?
Not yet.
not yet.
Okay, sorry.
Not there yet. And actually, I don't even know if we'll even get there, because, yeah, alright.
Got it.
I think we need to let
Yeah.
Mr. Sherman speak.
I have a sick baby at home that I came in this for. Are you kidding me?
Okay. So,
Mr.
direct
Chair.
question, if you have a question,
I let Tori go first, he raised his hand first.
alright, Tori?
Yeah, so we have a farm and it's, I guess in a similar situation, whereas, we do a cut flower farm. We're only on about 4 acres and we only have, several fields of flowers, but our whole property is considered a farm. And I assume it's the same for the Shumways where, we order seeds in our house. We set up seed trays in our house. We manage invasive species all the way around our property so it doesn't get close to where we're growing food and where we're growing flowers. So I think when someone is classifying themselves as a farm, and if you look in VSA 10, it actually has a really good definition of cultivation and farming. But I just want to reiterate, I really, when you are doing a farming activity, it takes all of your land and you need to manage it all, even if you're doing other things such as excavating or whatever else. And you could also have potential for if she wants to grow more strawberries next year, she might be managing other parts of her property and saving herself that option. So that's all I wanted to say. I agree with all the points on the bylaws. I think it's pretty straightforward, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tori. Mrs. Sherman?
To Tori's point, I don't even know, I don't come to these things, am I supposed to phrase it as a question or a statement, or how should I
Do you
talk
have
to
a
you?
question or?
I have many things
What,
that I need to make known on the record,
So-
because I'm sure this is gonna appear in a court,
so,
so.
okay, so let me set some boundaries for you, okay?
Absolutely.
Alright, and board clean me up if I don't,
We got you.
go out of. Let's keep it pertinent to what he has in front of us as
Okay.
far as that.
Absolutely.
The petition as to which is the point about farm and the use of the property, correct?
Meeting the definition of
Of farm,
and
okay.
and how the property is not used.
To the definition.
In that regard.
In that regard, so let's just focus on that, on those.
Okay,
those
so-
areas.
I do wanna touch on something not relevant, but relevant to the certified piece of mail I received stating that this meeting is taking place. Attendance at and participation in a public hearing for these cases are required in order to appeal the DRB's decision. All applicants or agents must attend to present their application for review. Information, so I just want to clear up, item number 3, which is this appeal by the Barretts. Tani is not present, this appeal is not even appealable.
So,
It clearly stated that all applicants must be present.
but Mr. Burrett is here,
Okay.
so let's
It-
move on.
Okay. And then second, there is a shop that is located adjacent to the shed, which in his footage is very hard to see, but it's a very large shop. Under pesticide management, in which I am certified in the state of Vermont for the strawberries to have. it needs, all pesticides needs to be in a locked facility, which is the shop, that is the storage facility for those, that's a very large shop that takes up a good chunk of land. There's a very large barn on the property, that is the storage for my straw,
So
that is
basically,
used to cover the, so what I'm getting at is,
you
there's a.
have structures in place taking up the usage of the
Exactly.
property, okay, yep, I think we get that, right?
My home office in my home is where I do all my bookkeeping for Shumberry.
Sure,
I also order all of my plants there as well.
Okay. to that
So
point,
to my, okay, and then I just wanted to make it known here that the farm determination letter from the state of Vermont. That's a formality, that is actually not required to be designated as a farm in the state of Vermont. You do not need to have that in order to call yourself a farm. Unless a town specifically in their bylaws state that we require this, which the town of Swanton does not, we do not need to have that.
let me just let's put a pin in that. When he was speaking in the beginning, you probably noticed I was looking in the book here extensively, I couldn't even find a definition for farm in our book. Because we don't deal with that. That's what I'm trying to gather, so please continue on.
I also want to point out that the exemption letter by the town of Swanton's attorney. It does not, it exempted the farm, it did not exempt ice cream, so my way of making a loophole. Why is
You're
this
not
like that?
making a loophole because as Jim pointed out to me, and he refreshed my memory, it's underneath the cottage industry.
Correct,
Which is part of your of the conditional use for that R1 residential.
that is correct.
So let's move on,
Okay, I just need to make sure that, like, sorry.
just blaze through it.
Yep, the noise concern,
Yeah, it's all right here.
the noise concern. There's farms like Mr. Barrett pointed out all around us, which farming is a 24/7 job. There's noise 24/7 in some parts of the year.
So
Also,
on your,
big
so one
residents that-
question I will have for you, on your permit, what's your hours of
It's like
operation?
7 to 5, 7 to 7, I don't know, yes, we definitely are within those parameters.
Okay? That's our reach right there,
Yep.
ends right there.
Perfect.
Noise on that, we don't do noise studies or anything like that, that's all done outside of that, so, okay, move on.
I think that's all I have, I mean, the definition of farm, I could read this to you from the Vermont Statement of Agriculture, but anybody
I
can.
don't really wanna hear it.
I don't
because-
either, I've read it.
Because of the
too many
fact
times.
that, and I'm not trying to be rude here or anything, but. Again, this is a zoning board which is quasi judicial based off of what the town planners have planned for us. And. Mr. Brad, I honestly, think that maybe you should probably go to one of those meetings as well. To the planners too, to talk about
Something
that.
she said.
I do have one question as public comment, we're
So
still in that
wait a
area.
minute, Mr. Brad was speaking first.
Okay. In rebuttal to one thing she said. Two things if I may. One, her property, the property in that region does not allow for mixed use. So if these operations are falling under the bylaws. Then you cannot have more than one use there. So you're saying that this is under the bylaws of the cottage industry, et cetera. Well, she already has one permitted use, which is the industrial.
So let me clear that up for you. So R1 agricultural residential district in the R1, which is your district. Cottage, these are our conditional uses that we can grant. We can even put a cemetery in there, so. I'm just
You
saying,
can't have the mixed use, you could have one of those, not two, not three, only one. So if you're saying everything's falling under this as opposed to the farming exemption, then.
The way we're seeing it is, the way we look at it is that these are the conditions that they can go into that property.
But if you look at the tables, it tells you that that is not allowed, the mixed use, you cannot use more than one conditional use on the property.
So it's written in there that we can do it, and there's always a waiver too, that could be issued too.
Mixed
But-
use, a building or parcel containing 2 or more principal uses which are otherwise allowed.
But
So it's
that-
permitted or.
But if you look at the table that lists the region and what's allowed in those regions, it specifically is devoid of mixed use.
We'll look at that table in the back, but we'll look at that definition of a mixed use.
The building or parcel contains, page 10-14.
1014.
Containing two or more principal uses which are otherwise allowed as permitted or conditional uses in the district in which the building or parcel is located.
That's on there so that they can have any permitted use in that area. It could be 1, 2, 10.
I would ask you to
Doesn't
look,
make any difference.
I would ask you to look,
No.
you look at the table. Let's-
Okay, they can have any number of things there, as long as they get approved. Makes no difference. It's just like it's a farm, and I get calls, oh, I'm farming. You know why they say that? Because they think their acreage charge of call assessment is too high. Because farming, where they 50% of their, over 50% of their income comes from farming, they can be in what we call a current use program, which means that the assessed their acreage is more like $500 an acre.
Farming is very different. Farming is very different.
Well, I've been in the farming business all my life, and I'm gonna tell you something, I've never heard anything like this, other than somebody that's disoriented with what goes on in the territory.
But we don't object to farming, we object to the
That's
mixed
when
use,
you go straight.
the overuse, because then it starts to disturb our peace of mind.
So let's,
I'm sorry, Wes.
so let's,
I understand.
let's put it.
Yeah.
As Spencer said, take it back to the environmental court.
Alright,
Go in there. Yep, that's fine.
because I understand what you're saying, and I think you're looking at it in reverse. Brian, did you have a question?
Well, I'll let Mrs. Shumway go.
I just want to clear up the air, I guess, because there's been a lot of things flying around. On my original permit, I was approved, which did include if I wanted to sell ice cream. Under the, as that,
If you
is
wanted
that, if I wanted to,
Right.
we currently do that, and I'm still permitted to do that.
Right now, yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
Brian,
yeah,
Well,
well,
hold up, Mr. Brett.
I'm the one who's a decision needs appealing, so. Tell you how this came about, as you all know, I took over on the fly from Amy. And as far as getting anything from the environmental court, in this case, directed to the town that was gonna come back to us, I've seen nothing.
that's.
Absolutely
Let
nothing.
him
Hold on,
speak.
he needs.
Yeah,
I'm speaking.
Mr. Brett.
I apologize.
So the letter that was drafted and I sent to Mr. and Mrs. Shumway. I had received the determination from the Agency of Agriculture. I kind of wondered what all the food was over on this deal, because I knew that an agricultural use of property is exempt from zoning.
Correct.
Okay, so. In any case, so in taking a look at it, I sent it to our town attorney. The town attorney agreed. He drafted this letter. I cut and pasted it on our letterhead and signed it. The bottom paragraph, this, the first 3 paragraphs are only dealing with the strawberry. Now, the bottom paragraph says the soft serve component of your application, which the DRB of the town of Swanton approved in its February 27, 2023. Conditional use permit remains subject to the permit and is not subject to any agricultural zone. So it's still subject to the permit, you can still do it.
The ice cream,
Yes.
correct, which is why I asked the
Now,
question.
tonight, if I may, okay, tonight, I feel this whole thing has been irrelevant.
Yeah.
Okay, this was the appeal was for the,
Yep, Brian,
the.
this is why I wanted to shut it down like 10 minutes
Right.
ago, remember? I was like,
Right.
no, I didn't even wanna hear Dory speak.
No.
Because I was feeling like we're gonna do this.
So anyways, that's all I have.
So I'm at that stuff
Yeah.
point where now, Mr. Brett. Fire with your one last statement, and I think we're gonna shut it down after this.
Okay. So moving forward, one last request, if they do. In the future file for more exemptions, that we request that they do it in writing. This is the one to directed to
Well, we're not gonna regulate them for how they file, that kind of stuff, so. If there's any other questions, I think we're good.
okay, well, I wanna thank you, I feel you were fair.
Oh, thank
I
you.
don't agree with you at all.
It's okay.
But I feel you were very fair.
I don't always have to agree. Thank you, Mr. Brett.
Yeah, thank you. Again, thank you for your time, it's. But that's what we do, it's right.
Yes, that's exactly why we have a public forum.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for working through it all.
Sure.
And sir, can you just ask anybody on there, because Susan did have her hand up to speak,
Susie?
somebody?
Anybody, any?
Sorry, yeah, I did have a question, but Spencer, you addressed it, so I'm good and
Perfect. Thank you. All right, so I guess we're all set. Thank you.
We're done with
Mr.
this one?
Yep, we're
Okay,
good.
we're done.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Have a good evening, drive safely.
That's the other one.
Thank you, guys.
No, you're welcome. Any other?
We'll have the liberal section and you'll hear back.
Oh, well, I can probably call you tomorrow. I should-
You can go
Come on,
over.
let's see, Brian.
Sure, 302
Yeah, but
598 598 1901.
I'll call you tomorrow.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Thank
just
Thank you.
give him a few minutes to leave first, and then you can. Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Brian, what I was hoping to say, I didn't mean to shut you down hard like that, but honestly, I wanted to shut that down, like, the whole thing like down like 10 minutes ago. And I was actually moving towards that.
I agree with that, but you also needed to allow Susie to.
No, I just wanted to,
Hold on,
all right,
No, we don't
so
care.
I make a motion to go into.
hold, do you wanna do the other minutes and stuff, or do you wanna?
We'll do it, we'll come back to that. I make a motion to go into deliberative session.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Do I hear, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So move, we're now in deliberative session. Wow, I guess we're. All right, so do I hear a motion to come out of deliberative session? Motion's been made by Harold. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Reg, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, so move. All right, do I hear a motion for number 1 and 2?
I make the motion for DRB 40/2024 Arthur Boulevard request for preliminary plot approval. For a 2-lot subdivision located at 410 County Road in R1 agricultural residential district approved as one.
All right, Jennifer's made the motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Jim, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, so moved. All right, do I hear a motion for number 2?
I make a motion for DRB 01/2025 Arthur Boulevard's request for conditional use less 30% for the site setback for a 2-lot subdivision located at 410 County Road in R1 agricultural residential district approved as one.
Motion's been made by Jen, do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jim, all in favor, say aye. Any nays? Hearing none, so moved. All right, here we go, number 3, I'll make the motion for number 3, DRB 02/2025, Michael Barrett and Tanya Cornell Barrett, appeal of an administrative decision in regard to determination of exempt agricultural activity in relation to Shumway property located at 200 Middle Road in the R1 agricultural district. I make a motion to approve this. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Jim, all in favor, say aye. Any nays? Nay. Motion has been made and denied, due to the fact that the board feels that this, petition coming before us, is not in the within the purvey of this DRB board. Questions? Okay. Okay, so now let's go through the minutes. Do I hear a motion for the minutes of DRB December 12th, 2025
And 17.
and 17th?
I'd like to make the motion that we approve the minutes for the December 25, and what was the other date?
17th.
17th.
December 12th and December 17th.
25, I wasn't here.
So I'll second that, I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, so moved.
I'll abstain for the first one, because I was present.
That's fine.
Jim, you wasn't present, right?
You can still do it if you're not present, as long as you've read them.
Right.
Any other necessary business? Brian?
Just very briefly, the state of Vermont, passed some ethics legislation as it relates to municipalities. And, so it's, we got plenty of time, but, anybody who sits on the board, quasi judicial board. And just about everybody who works for the town in one capacity or other is going to have to take ethics training. And once you're trained, there'll be a certificate issued, to be kept track of. And it's all done online, but it takes about 45 minutes. So the select board has appointed Christina as the liaison to the ethics commission. So she'll be keeping track of who's gonna.
I'll
when
send you
you're
the
doing it.
information, we have
Yeah.
a
And
few months.
we're gonna be forwarding all
Yeah,
the
done.
information. If somebody's new to the board, new hire, they have
30 days. or
30 to
60 days.
60 days. But if somebody who's already an existing board, they've got until September. But we gotta get on it and get it done. The town has to pass an ordinance also to comply with it.
So you will,
I'll send you the link and you just log on, it's just slideshows, and then you'll put an email in for you and then my email, and I'll get a copy of your certificate as well.
So
That's how I'll keep track of them.
stay tuned.
Okay. All
It'll
right,
be okay.
so see any other comments, Brian?
No.
Okay, public comment, we do have iPad 2 up there, whoever that is, who's iPad 2? Do you have a comment, a public comment or anything? Is iPad 2 there? Okay, any public comment? I don't see any. All right, the next board meeting,
February 27th.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
we're going much past that, February 27th.
The last. Thursday,
February 22?
27th.
Fourth, February 4th.
Oh, yeah,
Is it down?
you're right, I'm all set.
Adopted or.
Make sure you don't miss the date, because everybody wants to be on March, right?
And stuff like that. You don't have where you usually do that kind of stuff. But can't go out in public. It's gonna sit on the board, out there, region thing. Which I don't know if the town's gonna get into this, or like a lot of towns have already got into it, and looked at it. And I can't back up him and somebody else out there, because all of a sudden, I am going against the inclusion and all that whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, the DIE.
Yes,
Which on the
And
federal level is
so,
about
Yeah,
once
you're
you're,
the
once you're,
DEI.
right,
DEI.
once you're out there and you're in a board, now that I'm in, because.
So you can't badmouth me.
I can't badmouth
better
you.
Stop.
Because if he comes back and tells you, if the town adopted it, that I badmouth her out there, you have to have a hearing on it.
All right, so do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion
We
to
got one
adjourn.
more.
Oh,
Where's that Mylar?
That's on the thing, I'll have Spencer sign it. So Spencer can sign it.
He's all ready to sign.
Yeah.
Okay, just wanna make sure he
Is everybody
doesn't
sign
get out
this?
of here without signing it.
Well,
Jim signed them? Yep,
Yeah.
okay. Here, and
Alright, so I hear,
Motion.
so do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made by Jen, seconded by Jim, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays? Hearing none?
do you want us to keep our eye on stuff?
gotta look at this.
Here, you can have all this stuff, right?